Hi friends, what's the worst thing about ranked in Apex Legends Season 13? Well, split one at least. You see, I put out a poll where people voted for what they thought was wrong with ranked in Season 13, and I'm going to talk through each of these based on your votes, and I'll use them to explain what the main issues are with ranked in Season 13. So let's start with what was voted for least in the poll, and this was matchmaking. This is all about the skill level of lobbies, so don't think about teammates specifically just yet, that will come later, but this is specifically about the skill level of the lobbies in ranked for Season 13. I've got a question for you, are you finding more masters and even predators in your lobbies? Even though you're only bronze and silver, the matchmaking does feel a little off this season. And you're not the only one. And one of the key reasons for this is because everyone got reset together, and that meant a lot of the top tier players were pushed all the way back to group up with players in lower ranks, and this meant you've got bronze players all the way up to masters essentially being put into the same lobbies. And therefore you ended up with lobbies that had a much wider skill rating than you previously saw, particularly in ranks like bronze, silver and gold. And sometimes you find you'll get a full Masters lobby where it's really hard to earn RP, and sometimes it'll maybe be a Diamond and below lobby where it's a little easier to earn RP. Apex has always prioritised faster matchmaking over more even lobbies, and I don't think this will ever really change massively, but it is one of the reasons why ranked this season has felt so unbalanced in terms of the matchmaking. Anyway, going back to the poll, let's move on to the next most voted for item in the poll after matchmaking, for things that people disliked about ranked this season, and this was the map, Stormpoint. I personally feel like Stormpoint isn't the best map, although for how the ranked system is set up now, where Respawn are essentially trying to encourage you to play slower and think more as you rotate, having a larger map like Stormpoint might not necessarily be a bad thing. I think actually the main issues with Stormpoint being the ranked map are the end zones. Some of the worst end zones in Apex Legends today are on Stormpoint. They've just got the craziest kind of zones that end sometimes halfway out of the map, or that one in Command Center where there's just no way to get on top without a Valcult because it ends in a really weird place on Command Center. And what's even more common on Stormpoint are the end zones just ending in massively open areas with no cover. And sometimes this isn't even for the final zone, this could be for the last couple of zones as well, making it really hard to play towards the end of the zones in Stormpoint. And there are also those really weird mountain finishers where you kind of get the zone that's halfway on top of a mountain. I think Stormpoint could definitely do with a few more high tier loot zones and points of interest added. I don't mind that it's a larger map, but there's just too much open space, and not just open space but dead space with mountains and rocks and just kind of useless structures that make it not such a fun map to play on, especially when you're trying to earn RP in ranked. Moving on, the next one in the poll that was voted for is teammates. And I'm not going to lie, I've got to agree with this. For some reason, there are just whole bunches of players in ranked that just don't seem to understand how ranked works in Season 13. That, or they just don't care. Either way, they're making ranked very hard this season, especially for solo queue players. And I've certainly experienced a lot of this as a solo queue player myself. Honestly, I've had so much abuse in-game chat from teammates, random teammates by the way, that die early because of their zero brain cell plays, and then they seem to blame me for it, even though I'm the only one that got kills and damage, and is still alive by the way, earning them placement points. And this is a really common theme I've seen across Season 13, so it doesn't surprise me that this was the second most voted for item in this poll. Listen, I'm not criticising low ranked players or low skilled players here. Everyone has to start somewhere, and it's okay to still be learning the game, but if you're one of those people, at least try to listen to and follow the best player in your team, and that should be pretty obvious. It's the one with the most kills, the most wins, and the one that's doing the most in your game. Just don't run off on your own and make zero brain cell plays and then start abusing your teammates who are still alive. Like I said, it's okay to be learning the game and be a low skill player. Just try and use some common sense and respect your teammates. And I would say that's one of the biggest things with teammates this season. Finally, let's hop into the most voted for item in this poll for the least liked thing about ranked in Season 13, and this is the point system. I can understand why people have voted for this the most. It's just a case of really needing to understand that you need to earn placement points and kills. It's not a question of either or this season. You really do need both. And if we're fair to the people that voted, and if you look at the comments of this poll and the 3,000 people that voted, a lot of the complaints are more focused around the KP rather than the system as a whole. Now personally, I do also think the entry costs are very harsh, especially in the lower ranks. They really could have lowered the entry cost for bronze and silver a lot more. I'm not against what Respawn are trying to do with the rank system though. I think they're trying to do the right thing. I'm just not sure they're quite there yet with this particular system. They need to find a way to make the entry cost a little bit more fair, certainly for the lower ranks. Plus they need to find a better way to balance those early kills. Maybe something like bonus points if you get a squad wipe, or not adjusting the KP outside the top 14, and this might make it seem a little bit more fair without trying to encourage too much kill chasing. So a few tweaks to this ranked system could make it really effective. For now though, I think it's fair to say that as a whole, people aren't really loving this ranked system. I just wanted to share these thoughts with you on what's wrong with ranked in season 13. So if you're struggling with any of these elements, you know you're not alone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.